sign, emblem, mark, logo.
Are you here?
It symbolizes the unique invisible power of the male and female, means linga and yoni. Shiva linga is always represented with the yoni at the base. It is symbolic of Mata Shakti, meaning creative female energy. According to a distinguished professor, Wendy Doniger, for many Hindus, the linga is not a male sexual organ, but a spiritual icon of their faith. Just like for Christians, the cross is not an instrument of execution, but a symbol of Christ and the Christian faith. Shiva linga refers to two static and kinetic factors responsible for all creation, often explained as male and female. The United State refers to their creative mood process. Thus, Shiva linga is an atomic and symbolic representation of creation. Together, they symbolize the union of female and masculine principles and the totality of all existence, states the Encyclopedia Britannica. There is so much to be said about the subject that there are many books written about it, one of which is by Devdutt called Shiva to Shankara. It gives a deep insight into the meaning of Shiva linga, and it's worth a read if you would like to broaden your perspective. But if you can't wait for the book, why not practice the Shiva linga mantra now? Place your right hand with your thumb extended upwards on top of your left hand, which is shaped like a bowl. Hold the fingers of the left hand close together. Position your hands at the level of your abdomen with your elbows pointing outwards and slightly forward. Do this as often as you like, or for 2 times a day for 4 minutes. Combined with breathing practice, this mantra can be used against tiredness, dissatisfaction, and depression. Or we can use it when we feel drained because of long periods of tension and strain. What does any of this have to do with art? Since architecture, advertising, and even nature itself is so full of linga and yoni imagery, it is only natural that it should find some expression within art, the visual manifestation of the human psyche. It is said that the job of an artist is to take mundane forms of reality, whether a facial expression, a bowl of fruit, and make those forms irresistible to the human brain. This got me thinking about the interrelationship between a person's mind and art. So as Samir Zaki puts it, the artist is, in a sense, a neuroscientist, exploring the potentials and capability of the brain, though with different tools. Certain shapes and forms are hardwired into our existence, and so naturally it spills out into our creation. After all, this is meant to be a visual journey. So far, we've seen that there are many references to these intriguing shapes. But what about art? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Take a minute, have a look at this painting, centralize your thoughts, and take a minute. Here we have some work by Georgia O'Keeffe. She said, "I feel there is something unexplored about women that only women can explore. O'Keeffe's flowers and contextual background that surround them have become a 21st century debate. When Googled, there are 3 words synonymous with her iconic work. One of them is sensual, and the others, I'll leave you to guess. Here is a model that I made to show that the artist and the viewer go on a very similar journey when it comes to creating or viewing art. We both start with an impression. We observe, we interpret, and then we create an impression. And what that does is it evokes something, both in the artist and in the viewer. Let's see, what shapes do you see in my artwork? Observed by Ramachandran and Hirstein, a puzzle picture, or one in which meaning is implied rather than explicit, may paradoxically be more alluring than one in which the message is obvious. Do you find an obvious message here in my work? Let's see, what shapes do you see in my artwork? Observed by Ramachandran and Hirstein, a puzzle picture, or one in which meaning is implied rather than explicit, may paradoxically be more alluring than one in which the message is obvious. Do you find an obvious message here in my work? We know that no 2 people see colour in the same way. What colour do you see as dominant? Got it? What if I do this? Does that change your perception? I have created a short video which really takes the puzzle to the next step. Please note what shapes you see. And here we go. Collaboration is important to us. The 24/7 Collective are always looking for collaborators, and we have more than enough space to share your artwork on our +1 gallery. So please reach out. Here is a piece of artwork that I made whilst working with Catherine Harper, a fabulous astrologer and healer. She is offering all viewers the chance to work with her so you can understand your natal and astrological chart. She's into numerology as well, so please check out her website. Let's meet again. If you like what you saw and you would like to meet us again, I've been invited as a guest artist at the Ria Art Fair in Milan. This gives you a chance to meet us, as well as see the works of 100 fabulous emerging artists. So please check out their website. Brilliant. So we would really love to hear from you. If it's an idea or if you would like to share your work, please reach out to us. The email address is Shahina at justart24/7, which actually looks like this, 247.com. Our web address art247.co.uk. Thank you and reach out. Finally, I'd like to thank Jalinga Studio and all of you for coming on this amazing journey with me. So, it's bye from Shahina.
And bye from Shay.
See ya.
Bye.
Put me on.
He wants to see the stardom. He wants it.
He wants it.
He wants it.
Needless to say, I never looked at seafood the same way again. Fine with breeding. Breeding? Am I really breeding? So it's fair enough. I have seen a whole bunch of this low. Whatever you happen to call your lady part. Needless to say, I never looked at seafood the same way again. Okay. Hi, I'm Shahina Jaffer.
And I'm Shay Scott.
I'm
for more treatment. I will get it for those who use it. If you need the reason for
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
Hi, hello everyone. So my name is Angelina, well, aka Nine Troubles, and I'm a founder of Raspberry Dream Labs. As you may know, oh, just a second, streaming myself is making audio feedback that I need to remove. Yeah, as you may have met me before in Outspace, I had a slightly different look. And the reason for that is that our account has been shut down. And guess why? Because we've created this world for you to engage. And in fact, that is a pre-story of my talk that I want to share with you today. In fact, my plan was to talk a little bit more about multisensory sex tech and its implications, and kind of expand on that because it's essentially the primarily thing that we do at Raspberry Dream Labs. But in the light of recent occurrences, I feel it's much more important to share with the world our initial mission, vision, and things that have been obstacles on our way in achieving them. Yeah, so long story short, I want to talk a little bit more about Raspberry Dream Labs because some people may not know who we are until we started creating this camp. So we are a collective of artists and engineers drawn together to create multisensory solutions for cybersex. And we started our journey about 1 year ago. And in fact, our journey started from a research project called Sensory Seduction, where we explored how people can experience multisensory sexual arousal in cyberspace. Pretty similar to what's happening right now. And right now, essentially, we're able to hear each other, we're able to see, but in experience that we conducted 1 year ago, we also implemented smell, and we also implemented touch. So if you were able to meet another person in cyberspace, you would be able to feel the sensation of touch. Can I have somebody from the crowd? I would like to make a small demo.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for being a volunteer today.
Hey.
So essentially what we created a custom collar that was emitting sensation of smell that would go over the neck of a user, and there would be two holes that would emit the smell. And also we created a haptic device that you would put on your chest and on your arms. And with every sensation of touch, like I'm just doing now, Isaac would feel sensation. So the vibration would start where I touch him and it would continue for as long as I hold that part of the body. So essentially kind of creating him in a human vibrator. But in the experience that we created, we had multiple environments and we were using multiple stimuli to detect what environments are arousing and whether they're arousing for themselves or in the presence of another human being, aka their partner. We conducted experience for solo groups and for couple groups, and collected statistics based on their feedback on how they felt in the experience. By the way, thank you, Isaac. That was the only demo for now, but there'll be more things to do in the future. And yeah, based on that, we wrote an academic paper that got published in the Paladin Journal of Behavioral Robotics. And that was our big step into academic world, while also combining our expertise in art and in technology. So we come from we don't come from entertainment background. We come from cross-discipline mixture of different industries. And that is the main vision for Raspberry Dream Labs, is to tackle as many industries in one place. In our particular case, it's art, it's academia, and it's business. So some people might not know about it, and I feel it's really important to communicate this information up front so it builds up the right picture of where we are and what we want to achieve. And after the project, we realized that actually not many people know what cybersex is. If you ask a stranger on a street, in most cases, they would think you're crazy or that you watch too many sci-fi films. And yeah, it's a nice concept, but it will never come to reality. But the reality is somewhat different. The reality is that every single person, well, but almost every single person who's watching this right now and in the entire world engaged in a cybersex experience. For example, have you ever wrote a sexy text to your partner, provoking them to respond to you in a sexy manner as well? Have you? If you did, congratulations. You engaged in a cybersex experience, right? So telephone is just one way how you can create that experience. You can also use your laptop. You can use web chats, web experiences. You can use VR headset like we are doing right now. So there are so many layers and there are so many ways how cybersex can be experienced. And all technology, they are just different tools into making this happen. So, and many not many people know about that. So we felt there's a big urge to educate, to bring this information and to enlighten people about the entire industry of sex tech, which is one of the largest growing industries right now on the market, which is crazy. But the thing is, a lot of like people out there, they don't see distinction between sex industry and sex tech industry, and that is another reason that motivated us to start Uncensored series project. Within the Uncensored series, we started doing multiple events that included talks, workshops, nights, and chats. There has been a long story into how each type of event created another, but to keep it short, because we are short on time and there are so many things that I want to show you and present. Today, we started in real life, and when Corona hit, it felt really right to start taking our events into cyber world, because cyber sex is our main area of focus, and take it in VR, it kind of felt very right and very logical extension. And thankfully to Corona, it gave us extra hits at the back to actually make this happen. And we did a small research and decided that potentially Altspace should be a good platform to start doing this. Because I have to be honest, this platform has a really great infrastructure for running events, maybe one of the best ones. But there are other pros and cons to this, which I'm gonna discuss in a bit. So yeah, we started taking our talks into VR, which was really challenging and interesting because you would have to consider elements that you wouldn't consider in real life. For example, to make sure that everybody is experiencing the same content. Well, you are actually having only one content. Every one of us here might experience in a slightly different way. They may hear different things, they may see different things, and you as a user won't even know. But as a developers, for us, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to make sure that everything is consistent and smooth, which completely opened a new realm of opportunities to build on top. But that being said, we also learned that there is a big accessibility issue, that a lot of people who would come to the physical events, they wouldn't necessarily have the relevant hardware. And also the whole onboarding process, it has certain disadvantages that people have to take in consideration where they join events that take place in a new format. But that being said, we realized that there's so much more people who are already using the platforms from all over the world, and it's such a great opportunity to connect on a global scale that we wouldn't be able to do that running events from a London studio, you know. So we started a brand new event that kind of became a part of Uncensored series project, Uncensored Chats. And in fact, for me in the beginning, it was more like a trial just to see what works, what doesn't, to taste the ground, to see how people respond, how they react. And the idea was that we gather together, just like now, in virtual reality, in a custom-built world that is safe, that is inclusive, and it's there for people to share. And the idea is that you just come there and you are the presenter, essentially. You are part of the group that is there to listen, to support, and to tell anything that they want, anything that's happening on their mind. And of course, the idea was that we talked about sex, and every month would have a different theme. So the first one was very general about sexuality as it is. Then we moved into kink, and then for the third month into polyamory. And then we got banned. But before we got banned, we had so many great testimonials from people who would come to every single session. Like on the first night, we had, I don't know, maybe like 4 people or something, or maybe 6, very small group. But on the last, people were not able to get in because the capacity is limited in our space. You can only have like 30 people by default. People were not able to get in the world because it was over full. But in reality, these events they should be kept small to build the intimacy between the participants. And it was so beautiful to see everybody coming in every time and share more and feel better and grow within themselves and feel more confident about who they are, what they like, and understand most importantly that there is so many of people like us everywhere in the world And none of us is unique in some ways or forms. We all have desires that we want to share. And the more we repress them, the harder it becomes to confront them as we move further in our self-development. So, and it was just so beautiful, to like watch these people grow. And very sadly, we banned, yeah, for violating community guidelines. And that was a beginning of this whole story that we're stopping everybody from experiences this amazing world that shout out the original elephant who created this mind-blowing world in literally no time. We're gonna have a tour after this small introduction. I'm gonna stream from my eyes so you guys can see what I see. And yeah, like everybody should visit this world. And even after the burn will be over, this whole ghost town will still stay on Outspace if it's not gonna get shut down on its first third time. But everybody is very, very welcome to come after the burn and experience it on your own. Right. So the story of Burning Man is also really interesting because I discovered that the whole Burning Man is happening by pure accident when I was exploring multiverses and all out there. And I just bounced on the planet, which is beautiful. We also go upstairs for a brief tour. And I just followed up and discovered that Burning Man is happening in multiverses to which we signed up and that going down. And so clear to what we do. We are educational organization. We are artists and we're engineers, we're developers. Our mission is to bring the knowledge about the case, about the issues, and about what we do. And that didn't seem to be a problem up until the moment when I reached out for support. And there we started seeing negative signals saying that we don't get any support for any of our activities. And on the first night, we've been told to keep the event private, right? Because it's actually a conference. For example,
Your voice is breaking really bad. I'm struggling to follow you. I re-entered in case it's my problem.
Right. Did you start an hour has been before?
A few minutes ago.
But it'll be difficult now. We'll be back.
Is it also a problem for you, or is it just my problem?
Yeah, I was just grabbing a drink actually, but when I came back in, it was yeah, it was crackly.
Yeah. Well,
The start was fine. Like up until I went away, though, it was fine. Maybe it's only the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it kind of. Okay, let's hear you now.
How about now?
Much better.
Yeah, that's better for
Better?
me.
All right, excellent. So, and yeah, so we, as a good citizens of this multiverse, we wanted to play by the rules. So keep the event private. All right, no problem. So we had a really interesting and really vivid lineup of various artists who've been responding to the brief of cybersexuality in a post-human era. And I do agree, some of the content may not be suitable for underage visitors. Hence, we created a very